What's up, sports talkers? I've got some breaking news, or maybe not so breaking news, but Shams Charania of ESPN is reporting that the Memphis Grizzlies are trading Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and 1 first-round pick swap. Now, this is a major event in the offseason. If this is a sign of what's to take place this offseason, we're in for a storm with trades. Kevin Durant is out there. They're exploring trade options for Kevin Durant. And if Desmond Bane can command such a haul in return for his signature, then what we are to expect in this offseason is crazy, because Kevin Durant is going to be traded. There's a lot of noise around Giannis, but he hasn't requested a trade, and there's no indication that the Bucks are going to trade him. But if there were to be a trade for a superstar this offseason, with this trade setting a precedence, it's going to be crazy. Now, I'm looking at this trade from several angles. I'm looking at it from the Grizzlies' point of view, where if I'm the Grizzlies and I'm offered so many picks plus a veteran player like Caldwell-Pope and Cole Anthony, who is currently, you can say he's a veteran in the NBA now. He's been in the NBA a few years. So if I'm offered all of that for Desmond Bane, it doesn't signal necessarily that I'm rebuilding my squad. It signals that I got an offer I can't refuse. So go ahead and take Desmond Bane off my hands. And it signals to me that the Magic, they think they need more offense. A lot more offense. Because Desmond Bane averages roughly 20 points per season. His last 3 seasons, he's averaged 21 points, 23 points, 19 points. So he's a pretty good scorer in the NBA. He does play defense as well. So they do get value for what they traded. He does give you more than Caldwell-Pope, and he does play defense just like Caldwell-Pope. So I think that's a big upgrade, and you didn't necessarily have to give up your core pieces to get Desmond Bane, which will now be a part of your core. I see a lot of people out there saying that they overpaid for him. I think they slightly overpaid, but given what they get in return, it might also be somewhat of a bargain, because they gave up unprotected picks that are projected to be in the end of the first round, so picks that are in the 20s or so. They might be giving up a few role players, future role players, for a current player that they need, you know. They need his offense, they need his defense, his toughness. He's a tough player as well. Now, Brian Windhorst gave me some more insight into the trade, so let's hear what he has to say.
Yeah, let's break this trade into 2 parts and focus on the Orlando side and the Grizzlies side, and I promise you the Grizzlies side is more interesting. But first we're going to talk about Orlando. The Magic have needed more offense for a year, and it was actually a little bit mystifying that they didn't make a trade at mid-season when they had a bunch of expiring money on their books, when they wouldn't have had to give up a player beyond this year, and didn't do so. And they really collapsed offensively down the stretch and were not a threat in the playoffs because of it. So they trade for a guy in Desmond Bane, who over the last 3-4 years has averaged about 20 points and shot over 40%. He's under controlled long-term contract, plays both ends of the court, a quality player. And they also trade Contavious Caldwell-Pope away. You have to look at this trade not only as acquiring Desmond Bane, but they're offloading the contract of Contavious Caldwell-Pope. He was a big free agent signing a year ago, but he did not have a good year, okay, guys? And he's owed $43 million over the next 2 years. So part of what they're paying with those picks is for Bane, but also to offload what is viewed as a bad contract. It is a rich thing to trade. The 16th pick in this draft isn't viewed as super expensive, but unprotected in 26, 28, and 30. We have no idea what those teams are going to be. That's a big price, but they're paying for get rid of Caldwell-Pope and to acquire Bane. That's what you have to understand. Now, let's turn the page to the Grizzlies. What does this mean for the Grizzlies? This is now what is being asked in the league, because this is a rebuild trade, okay? While Contavious Caldwell-Pope has proven to be a key piece of a championship contender twice in his career, last season did not look like that, and he has gotten older and has a big contract. So this is a trade where the Grizzlies are pivoting a little bit. And It's not an insane thing because, if you look at the Western Conference and you look at how tough it is to compete and you look at what Memphis thinks about their hand, it may be the time to do a little bit of a pivot. There's not almost anybody in the Western Conference who is really rebuilding right now. Everyone's kind of got the gas put down, including the Jazz. The Jazz are intending to try to turn it up. And so what this means is the next question is, what about Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr.? And I don't know the answer to this. This is something that we're just started trying to figure out with this trade. The whole league is now going to investigate this, and we haven't heard from the Grizzlies yet. And if I was at the Grizzlies press conference, this is the number one question I would be asking. I wouldn't be asking about Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I wouldn't be asking about Cole Anthony. I wouldn't be asking about those 4 first-round picks. I'd be asking, do you intend to extend Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., both of whom are extension eligible this summer? Are you going to is that what you're doing now, or are you pivoting the franchise? So to me, that's the big story emanating out of this trade.
So a lot of details coming out right there. I got to commend Brian Windhorst. He did spark my interest and gave me a lot of information based on this trade. I would have never thought of the point that they kind of paid to get rid of Caldwell-Pope. That's a pretty significant point right there. So they had a big contract on a veteran that's not contributing as much as they want to the team. So they gave up a little bit more to get rid of Caldwell-Pope, which now when I think of it, it's a pretty good trade, pretty evenly balanced trade based on what Brian Windhorst just said. And it's a fair question to ask if the Grizzlies are in a rebuild mode, or do they just pivot to having some more veteran leadership on the team. Me personally, I think they're trying to get in some veteran leadership on the team. Caldwell-Pope is a proven veteran in the league. He's won 2 championships on 2 different teams where he contributed to the defense and also with timed shots on the offensive end. This trade has been garnering a lot of media attention, and a lot of fans are talking. A lot of fans are basically, reiterating what the media is saying, that it's a very expensive trade to trade Desmond Bane for 4 unprotected first-round picks and 1 pick swap. But to me, in analyzing the trade and looking at both sides of the trade, I think it's a pretty even trade when you think about what each team was trying to get done. I think the Grizzlies got an offer they could not refuse. Personally, they were getting 2 veteran players. They also getting some picks that might turn out to be something, might turn out to be nothing, but who knows what picks turn out to be until you pick them or get a crop of rookies. When you see the draft class, you'll know if you can get something valuable with lower first round picks. Now, for the Magic, as Brian Windhorst informed us just now, they were paying to get Desmond Bane, which is a good offensive player in this league. 20 points per season is no joke. He's a tough player. He plays on both ends of the floor, plays defense. So they're getting the defense he comes with and the offense and leadership, toughness. And they badly wanted to get rid of Caldwell-Pope. So they put a little incentive in there to get the trade over the line, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. So my personal view, it's a pretty even trade. In terms of if the Grizzlies are in a rebuild mode, only time will tell, because the 2 players they got, I think, can fit into their team right now. Sports Talkers, let me know what you think about the trade. Was it too expensive of a price for Desmond Bane, or was it a pretty even trade, like I said, with all the details that I provided? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm out.